Hello, my name is Brooke from Utah Senior Planning. You were referred to us so we can help you through the Nursing Home Medicaid application process. Before we submit an application and represent you to Medicaid, we want to make sure you understand how the Nursing Home Medicaid program works and what items you will need to gather to get started. This short video and the checklist that our intake specialist Malia sent you will get you started in the right direction. Please take out a pencil and paper and get ready to take notes. Now my trusted partner Natalie is going to help me with this presentation. Hi Natalie!
Hi Brooke, thanks for the intro. This checklist is critical to applying for a nursing home Medicaid. We want to make sure that you understand everything on it. First off, there are several Medicaid programs. Each program is a little different and has its own rules. Today, we will be discussing Nursing Home Medicaid. Please pay attention and make sure that you take notes. There are two parts to the Nursing Home Medicaid application. The first part is the clinical application. This is not your responsibility, but it is important to understand that the nurses at the nursing home have to prove to the state of Utah that you or your loved one needs to be there. This application is called the 10A. For someone to clinically be approved for Nursing Home Medicaid, they need to meet 2 out of 3 criteria. These criteria are, first, help with activities of daily living, like showering, getting dressed, going to the bathroom, etc. Second, have a cognitive decline or dementia. Third, have a skilled nursing need like a wound or a feeding tube. Remember, they only need to meet 2 of the 3 criteria, but we highly recommend that you ask the social worker and nurses at the nursing home if they think that you or your loved one will meet the 10A criteria. If not, this could cause a problem in the application process.
Now, the second part of the Nursing Home Medicaid application is really why you were referred to us, as this is your responsibility. This is the financial application. The financial application is where the most mistakes are made. Listen up, as this is where you are going to learn about how Medicaid will help pay the nursing home bill. On average, in the state of Utah, nursing homes cost around $8,000 per month. That bill can quickly add up if something is not done right on the Medicaid application and the application gets denied. If denied, the nursing home will expect you to pay the bill for the last 1 to 3 months or during the time the application was pending. For this reason, the nursing home wants Utah Senior Planning to work with you on this application process. It is important we go through you or your loved one's financial situation to determine if Medicaid will get approved now or if some planning strategies need to be implemented prior to applying. Now, I will pause just briefly for a quick review to make sure you got the important points so far. Today, we are only talking about the Nursing Home Medicaid program, and it is broken up into 2 parts. 1, the healthcare application, or 10A, which the facility is responsible for handling. 2, the financial application, which is your responsibility, but this is the reason you were referred to Utah Senior Planning.
Now let's talk about the financial application. The financial application is broken into 2 main parts: your income and your assets. Let's first learn about income. Medicaid counts income a little different than the IRS counts income for taxes. Basically, income is the money you receive on a monthly basis. This could be from Social Security, pensions, earned income from a job, or mineral or oil rights. Medicaid will want to see verifications of the income, and no, this cannot come from bank statements. Medicaid will require an income verification letter from each income source showing gross income and any deductions taken. This is critical because each month that you are in a nursing home on a long-term basis, you'll need to pay the nursing home a certain amount based on your situation, meaning your gross income and whether you're single or married. The amount paid to the nursing home is called the share of cost. Brooke can tell us a little more about the share of cost.
The share of cost is important to understand, and one of the Utah Senior Planning's agents will help you to determine your share of cost based on your specific situation. It is important to understand that for a single individual, Medicaid does not deduct outside expenses from this share of cost. Items such as life insurance premiums, rent, utilities, car payments, mortgages, or auto insurance will need to be stopped, as you will no longer have the money to pay for those expenses while in a nursing home on Nursing Home Medicaid. We at Utah Senior Planning know that this can cause some major problems with the outside finances, so we are here to help you through this stressful process. The share of cost for a married individual will be calculated differently since the spouse at home still needs income to live off. Your Utah Senior Planning representative will look into your specific case to help determine your share of cost. Oftentimes, the share of cost for a married case is calculated at $0. Once your share of cost has been determined, the nursing home will know how much to bill you on a monthly basis once approved for Medicaid. As for most individuals, income is most likely less than $8,000, which leaves a balance that must be paid with your assets or by Medicaid. This is why Medicaid wants to know about your current assets and what assets you have had in the last 5 years. Before we dig more into assets, let's let Natalie do a quick overview of your income, share of cost, and what things can be deducted.
To understand this, it is best to give an example of how the share of cost is calculated. For simplicity purposes, we will discuss a single individual. Let's say you or your loved one is receiving $1,000 per month from Social Security and $1,000 from a pension. That means that their gross income is $2,000. Now, let's talk about expenses. The only expenses that Medicaid will allow you to deduct are health insurance premiums and a personal needs allowance of $45 for a single person. To calculate your share of cost, we begin with your gross income of $2,000 and deduct $150 for this person's health insurance premium and $45 for their personal needs allowance. In this example, your cost of share would be $1,805. Remember that this is the amount that you pay the nursing home each month. But don't forget that a married case's share of cost is calculated differently since the spouse at home needs monthly income to live. The spouse at home gets to keep all of their income. Additionally, if the income of the spouse at home is below a certain amount, they will also be able to keep the income of the spouse in the nursing home as well. It all depends on your situation. Now let's look at your checklist to determine what you need to gather for your specific situation. As you can see, it's asking for proof of gross monthly income for applicant and spouse, which includes the Social Security benefit statement, pension/retirement, VA benefits, disability, mineral oil rights, or any other source of income. These are the items Medicaid will need to verify income to approve a Nursing Home Medicaid application. Please review this checklist and write down what items you will need to apply for the application process. We will take a quick break so that you can write down any last-minute thoughts about the clinical criteria to being in a nursing home and the income verifications that are required to apply for the Nursing Home Medicaid.
Thanks for that example and for going through the checklist, Natalie. Now that we have looked at how Medicaid will look at income, and we know that you may have to pay a share of the cost toward the monthly bill, let's see what assets Medicaid will count to determine eligibility. Much like the difference in income calculations on a married person and a single person, the asset limits are counted differently for a single person and married person. Assets are what Medicaid considers to be sources of money that you own that can be sold and used to pay for the $8,000 nursing home bill. Medicaid is always a program of last resort, so if you or your loved ones have assets, Medicaid will require that you use that money to pay for your care. This section can be overwhelming, so please have the checklist and your notes ready as Natalie goes through each asset section on the checklist. This will be critical to understand when applying for Nursing Home Medicaid now or in the future. Just something to note. If you are a loved one watching this video, like a son or daughter, neighbor, or other family member, Medicaid will likely not look at you to pay for the nursing home bill. The assets that are discussed on this section only relate to the person in the nursing home and their spouse.
If you look at your checklist, you will see these 5 sections that show what items you will need to gather for asset verification. Here are the main financial statements for verification you will need. Medicaid will want to usually see 6 months of statements. Don't forget about your life insurance policies and the required documentation that is needed if you own a home. Both of these assets can be exempt if planned for properly. A Utah Senior Planning representative will help you figure out what is exempt and not exempt for these 2 assets. Medicaid will want to know about the vehicles or recreational vehicles that you own. And then the last thing that can also be exempt is set up properly is your prepaid funeral plans. Please review these items that are needed for each asset so we can better help you prepare to apply for Medicaid.
Now that we know what type of assets Medicaid will want to verify with financial statements, it is important to understand that with careful planning, a couple of these assets can be excluded from the total asset limit. This will be explained to you in more detail by one of our Medicaid advisors once we get your paperwork. In general, a single person is only eligible for Medicaid if they have less than $2,000 of total assets at the beginning of each month. Medicaid is a month-to-month program, so in order to qualify for a specific month, the applicant must prove to Medicaid that their total assets are under that $2,000 asset limit on the first day of the month. Just to note, the asset limit is calculated differently for a married person, as the spouse at home still needs some assets to continue to live off outside of the skilled nursing facility. Once the asset list is determined, $2,000 for a single person and a calculated amount for a married person, we can predict eligibility for past months, the current month, and prepare for future months. Let's let Natalie give us some examples.
Example number 1. At the end of the month, a person has $1,500 in checking and $5,000 in savings. Is this person eligible for Medicaid for the next month? No, because on the last day of the month, they had more than $2,000. Example number 2. At the end of the month, there are 2 life insurance policies with a cash value totaling over $3,000, and there's $500 in the bank. Is this single person eligible for Medicaid for the next month? No, because on the last day of the month, they had more than $2,000 total assets. The last example. At the end of the month, there was $1,000 in the bank and 2 cars and a camper, totaling $10,000. Is this person eligible for Medicaid for the next month? No, because on the last day of the month, they had more than $2,000 total assets.
These examples are still good examples for a married person, as it is good to see how Medicaid will count these assets. As you can see, for us to help you with Medicaid, we need to verify your financial statements to determine eligibility. If you are gathering your financial statements for us to review, please do not get discouraged on items that you cannot find or if you are currently not eligible. Our team of experts are here to help you through this process. Thanks for watching, and we hope you have learned something. Please do not hesitate to reach out to our office if you have further questions about what items you will need to start applying for Nursing Home Medicaid. Someone from our office will be calling you to discuss the next steps, so please start now on gathering the items that were discussed in this video. Thanks again, and we hope that you have a great day.